Alex Wallace here for a more complete beast at Wallace Fitness Center, and today I'm bringing you a beginner video about the hip abductor machine and the hip adductor machine. First, let's look at the hip abductor machine. Very user-friendly. Basically, sit in the machine, you put your back flat against the pad, so your back is nice and neutral, you're not pulling yourself into flexion, and you battle the resistance outwards and inwards, controlling it the whole time. You don't want to just rip your legs out, slam it closed. You're missing out on the entire eccentric portion of the lift. Do it correctly, keep it under control the entire time. Now let me give you 2 tips for the hip abductor machine. The first one, if you're like me and you sit in the machine and you know that there's more, basically you're leaving range of motion on the table because there's a gap between your thigh and the machine. Very simple fix, you just find a pad, you stuff it in between your thigh and the machine. Rightfully, you might be thinking, yeah, but now there's more range of motion on one hip and not the other. And you're right, so the next set, just switch hips. If you're gonna do 2 or 4 sets, very easy to balance that out. If you're only doing 3, well then next time you use that machine, just start on the other side. Over time, it's gonna balance out. Second tip I'm gonna give you, if you're somebody that's a little more advanced, you can actually do this backwards. Now do this safely and understand that this wasn't what it was designed for, so you're doing this at your own risk. But when I do it like this, I feel a burn in my quads, as well as a little more activation in my hips. So basically what you do, you face the machine, you hang onto the back pad, trying to keep my back nice and flat, hold a half squat, and then battle the resistance outward. The musculature this is gonna hit, whether you're doing it standing or seated, is glute minimus, glute medius, as well as the TFL. Okay, now you're gonna hit some other musculature there, especially if you're doing it backwards and you're isometrically holding your squat, but primarily I'd say this targets the glute minimus, glute medius, and TFL. You'd incorporate this in a program if you're somebody that thinks that they need to build up their outer hip, basically for sports, or from an aesthetic perspective, you think building up some musculature there will make you look better. It's also good to add some novelty into your program. I don't think this should be your primary hip builder, but I do think it can be a great adjunct and accessory to a complete program. Now let's look at the hip adductor. Okay, the hip adductor, adding together. This is also extremely user-friendly. You basically sit into the machine, you lift the lever on the right side, open up your legs, let the lever lock into place. Now you're ready to battle the resistance. If you are a beginner, don't force anything, okay? Don't be prying your legs open with your hands to try to get more range of motion. In this case, I want you to just bring it to end range of motion that you can comfortably achieve, and then work your strength through there. Okay, there's really not a ton of advice that I can give you here, except make sure you're controlling the weight the whole time. People have a tendency to just slam their legs together and just let the machine open up. For whatever reason, this happens more on the hip adductor machine than the abductor machine, so just try to keep it under control the whole time. Now there's a ton of muscles involved in hip adduction that you're hitting here. To name a few, you're gonna hit your adductor magnus, you're gonna hit your gracilis a little bit, but know that it's hitting a lot of musculature on your inner thigh. You would use this in the same way that you would use the hip adductor, just with different musculature. Okay, if you think you need to build up your inner hips a little bit more, if you think that it's gonna add some novelty to your program, again, I don't think that this should be your primary leg builder, but it can be great accessory work. So look, this is a beginner video, and if you're watching this, let's say you walked through the gym, you saw the QR code, you scanned it, and now you're watching this video, you're probably grateful that you know how to use this machinery now, but you probably want to know how to use it in a program, and we solve that problem for you. Down in the description, we have a 10-week program, your first 10 weeks in the gym. This is going to go over gym myths that a lot of beginners believe when they walk in, as well as a program, as well as some good nutrition advice. So if you're somebody that came in here, now you know how to use exercises, but you don't know how to build a program, this product is for you. So just to recap on the video, hip abduction is basically battling the resistance going out. That's going to hit your outer hip naturally. Okay, you can use this to add novelty to your program, or to add some strength or aesthetics to your hips. Hip adduction, think adduction adding together. This is going to hit your inner thigh, and it's used for a lot of the same reasons: novelty and specific strength. These are great accessory movements, but probably shouldn't be your primary movements. If you are a beginner, you want a 10-week program, we have that down in the description. I'm Alex Wallace. This channel is a more complete beast, but I'm here at Wallace Fitness Center. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.